Hi guys, in this video I want to show you how to set up your Mac so that you can do some serious C programming in this lecture. I will show you how to install some tools that will help us later to install certain Unix tools that we frequently use. Now we will use most of the time the terminal for doing compilation and stuff like that. And here we first should check what kind of shell you're using. With the command echo $0, you can see that by default macOS is using the so-called set shell. It's okay if you want to stick with this shell. For example, if you're already experienced with using the terminal, that's okay. But otherwise, I would suggest that we all switch to the same shell. And under Linux and Unix, the most common shell is actually not set shell, but bash. So if you want to go Unix mainstream, you can change the default shell with the change shell command, which is abbreviated with chcs. And together with this option -s/bin/bash, you will be asked for the root password or the admin password. And after that, you will see that you still have the set shell. What you have to do is actually restart the terminal, and next time you will have the bash as default. So let's check that out. Echo $0, and bam, we now use the bash, and now we're all on the same ground. With this annoying warning from Apple that you actually should use set shell, we will deal later. For now, let's start with writing our first Hello World program in C. For that, I will use the editor called Nano, which is basically installed on every Unix, which is a very simple editor. I invoke it with Nano and the option hello.c, the name for the file that I want to create. And then I will type in this Hello World program. You actually can copy-paste it from the website, but I suggest that we all train our typing skills, because you will actually have to do quite a lot of typing in this class. So let's get started with practicing now. Now, once you're done, you simply can exit the editor with Ctrl X, and then you will be asked whether you want to save the file. Of course, you want to do that, so type in Y. And then we usually could simply compile this C program into an executable, for example, with a C compiler like GCC. But on this system, no C compiler is installed, and this also might be the case on your machine. Now here, Apple suggests that you install Xcode, which is basically a package from Apple that contains such a C compiler. But I actually suggest something different. Installing a package manager, which is very popular on macOS, and which allows us to install many more developer tools that we frequently use. Because, to be honest, the tools on Apple that you get with just Xcode are usually outdated. Now this package manager is called Homebrew, so simply open a browser and search for Homebrew. Let me arrange here the windows so that you see the terminal and the browser side by side. And with Homebrew, you usually should get as a first hit the right website. And on this website, you will find a command that you simply have to copy-paste. So basically here, you have to click here, and then it's on a clipboard. And then you can paste this command into the terminal, hit return, type in your password, and then you can have some coffee or tea, because this will now take some time. Okay, so once you're done and typed in the password correctly, you're good to go. Now GCC should be installed, and now GCC hello.c should work. It will create a file called a.out, which is the default name for an executable generated by GCC. And with .-a.out, you actually can execute this command in the terminal. It will print out hello world. By the way, if you just type in a.out, this will not work. You will get an error message. command not found. And this is actually something that we cover in more detail in an upcoming lecture, what happened here. But for now, let me already tell you a few things about the shell. The shell has so-called variables, shell variables. And one of these variables is called path, the path variable. If you type in the command echo $path, it will print out the value of this variable, which is actually just a very long string, which contains a list of directories. These directories are separated by a colon. And when you type in a command in the shell will look into these directories from first to last, search in these directories for a command by that name, and then execute it if it was found. And otherwise you get this error message, command not found. If you want to change that so that the shell also looks in the current directory for a program, for example a.out, then you actually can do that. You can use the shell command export together with path equals $path. Be careful, the shell is case sensitive, so path has to be all uppercase and you should not use any spaces in between. But with that, you simply can type in a.out and it finds the command. Now in class we can talk about why this is not default. Obviously there is a reason for that, and the reason is that on multi-user systems this actually might be a security issue. But in my opinion, if you're just using the computer by yourself, then this should be okay. Now something else, if you want to give this executable a name different from a.out, you can do that with GCC together with the option -o, and then you can specify the name of the executable, for example hello. And then you see GCC creates a file called hello, and of course you can simply execute it by typing in hello. Now this modification that we did to the path variable will not be permanent. If you would start the terminal next time, this modification would be gone. You would have to rewrite this export thing. If you want to make it permanent, then you have to configure the bash so that by default it has this modification. Now for doing that, let me first show you how to show so-called hidden files in the current directory. For that you can use ls together with the option -a, which will list all files, including the hidden files. And hidden files are simply files that begin with a dot. And by tradition in Unix, these dot files are used for configuring different tools, for example the bash. Now what you have to modify on macOS for configuring the bash is the file called .bash_profile. And in this file we basically have to insert this export line for the path variable. Okay, and now we can start a new terminal or a new tab with Command T to see whether this has a permanent effect. And you see a.out is found. Now, still annoying is this warning about having not set shell as default shell. And for getting rid of that, I actually had to ask Google for advice. And I simply searched for macOS warning default shell, stuff like that. And then I found this link on Stack Exchange. And basically here, let's get rid of that. And here you can use this line, which is also on the website. And this line, this command, we also have to add to our .bash_profile file. So once again, let's use nano to modify this file and add it after this line. And that should do the trick. When you start a new terminal now, you don't see any warning and we're good to go.